2015, I started, and a few months later, Jason Gayson came into town. He says, Gene, why don't we just go to our office, which was, what are those called, those little offices? Regis. Let's go to Regis, and we'll start interviewing people. And he says, I've got a lineup. We invited people, and this is one of the first persons I met when I started attracting people. But I didn't look at the first name. Last name was Keller. I thought we were going big, really big, quick. Wow, Jason, good job. But I've known this gentleman for a long time. We were team leaders together at Keller Williams. And when I think of Chuck, I just think of solid. I just think, it's so funny when you meet people and you go, man, he seems to have it much better together than I do. He's just one of those guys that you meet and you go, man. But he's become a dear, dear friend, and he got it quick. See, you want another thing. He got it. When we interviewed him, he got it quick. He goes, Gene, this is it. So from Los Angeles and Fort Lauderdale, Mr. Chuck Keller. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Woo!
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here. I'm very glad you're here because it's so important to go to every single one of these events, every single one of them. I know sometimes you think, oh, there's another one I got to go to. I got to sign for another. It's so important. It's just, it feeds you. And the other thing I want to say is always stay in here. Never, ever leave to go out and do something for your business. Just text that person back, that buyer or seller, and say, I'm on an appointment right now. That's all you got to do. Because you will miss something that you should have heard. And you paid so much money to get here, be in here, and you're out at 12:30 or whatever, right? So before I start, because when I do things like this, I sometimes forget things. I do want to acknowledge 4 people, and I'm doing this for myself, but I'm also thinking you want to do this for you too. 4 people that are a lot for what I have and what I've become and what I have from this business. One, of course, is Glenn Sanford. What amazing for him to have the vision and the tenacity to get through all of it. And then with Glenn, with Debbie, there's got to be times he was always saying, okay, should I do this? Is this going to work or whatever? And if you know Debbie, she's like, yeah, let's do it. We can do this. We can do this. We can jump in a motorhome and travel across the country. And I mean, who would want to do that? But they did that years ago. And so Glenn, thank you so much for having this vision and getting me out of what I was in, And the next one, of course, is Dave Gagnon, my sponsor. And I want to tell you about that. I didn't even know him, so he just called me out of the blue. And I just sometimes think, what if Dave hadn't called me? What if he had stopped that day and then he came back the next day and started with the L's or whatever on his list? When would I have found out? And so when he called me, I didn't know him, and I was a team leader, which is a manager of Keller Williams. And so I heard him say something about a business model or something, and I thought, I got to know what this is, because when my agents are coming and telling me they're leaving for a company, I got to know what that model is so I can talk them out of it, right? So I took that call, and at the time I wasn't interested. I was just listening, and that was in July of 2015. But then some things happened over the next couple of months, right? And if you know that, logic makes you think and emotion makes you react, right? So when that happened a couple of months later, I took note of him calling, and then I got more interested. And so thank you for calling. That's amazing. Next is my business partner, Doug Arago, who allows me to do more on the attraction side because he's doing more on the selling side. And I still do selling as well. I'm doing a lot of phone calls and emails and negotiating with contracts, but he's like boots on the ground. So he's allowed me to do this, so I want to thank him. And then also my partner, my life partner of 20 years, Craig Van Skyke, who's allowed me to do all these things, and without question, whenever I do something, it's And then also too, and I know some of you are going to get an elbow right now, so get ready for that if your spouse is here. Always we're driving down the street, there's a sign, that should be EXP. There's a sign, that should be EXP. Or, we're passing by a real estate company, ABC Realty, should be brokered by EXP Realty. Call them. And I'm like, okay. It's exhausting, right? So you've got those same 4 people in your life, and I hope you acknowledge them. So I want to get right into things, and then maybe if I have time, I'll tell you a couple of stories. But I'm like, get to the point and tell me what you need to tell me. I'm a D off the chart in that way, if you know what the disc profile is. And so I'm bored with a lot of fluff. I just want to know exactly, which is also a weakness of mine, because I may start talking to someone and just jump to it, and I need to build up to it, the foreplay, right? Getting into it. So anyway, so why EXP? You know this, but I just want to remind you. The split, when somebody asks me to split, I know immediately. First of all, if I'm going to talk to someone, I know about them. I have Googled them. I have looked on social media. I have scrolled through. I know kind of what they're interested in or what they don't like, so I know what to talk about or what not to talk about. And so the split, if someone asks me to split, I already know what their production is, kind of. And I'm like, why are you worried about the split? You should just be worried about the end of the year, what you paid. And it's $16,000, right? So if they're talking about split, they're really like what I call a minimum wage mentality. And I need to educate them on that. So that's important. The cap, I noticed in the video earlier, these are just little things that I noticed. It said something about agents can be shareholders or something like that. No, every agent is a shareholder, because if you make one sale, you're a shareholder, because you get a stock award. It's not like something, it can happen if I've got to go do X, Y, Z or something. The awards, as a team leader, I can't tell you how many times I would send my staff or myself would go to Target and buy those $3 frames to print up the certificate, run back to the office, print the certificate, and hand out that award, a paper award, in a frame on a wall. And we get these awards, so we get so much. And also the retirement through the discount stock program, that you don't have that anywhere else. So you need to realize what you've got. And I'm just going through this. I know a lot of you know it, but you're not really excited about it or thinking about it and promoting it, right? Residual income through dividends, we all get that. If you have stock, you're going to get the dividends at least, right? And someone may say, oh, it's only 4 cents. Well, yeah, but it's 4 more cents than you get wherever you are, right? And rev share, we've all noticed that we've all said don't talk about rev share initially. And why is that? Because an agent doesn't want to have to think of doing something else that they're not already doing. I just tell everybody, all I'm wanting you to do is run your business through the EXP model instead of running it through whatever company, and you're going to get all this stuff. And then I say, if you're interested in helping the company grow, then we can talk about that later. That's really good, but we can talk about it later. And security. How wonderful that we have the security we have from what we're doing, and they don't have it there. This quote I love. You want to take a picture of this because I use this in every one of my talks with people. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And it's interesting who's the owner of that other real estate company, Berkshire Hathaway, that doesn't give them any stock, right? I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, I love that quote, and I tell everybody that. And so at one time I realized it when I first joined EXP, many years ago. I was on a cruise, because we go on, at least one cruise a year. I was on a cruise, and one of my agents that I attracted texted me and said, oh, I made a sale, and of course I'm like, yay, how much is it? Of course, I'm trying to figure what my rev share is going to be, right? And so it was $1,000 I was getting. And I said, I'm on a cruise on vacation, and I'm making money. I wasn't even there. And so this is why I love this quote. This I learned in Dallas from Brent saying, list 40 agents, or what's the alternative? Selling forever. And I was talking to someone in my group the other day, texting, and he wanted me to help him with attraction. And he kind of basically told me on a text, his goal right now was to make his team $10 million in gross commission income this year. And I said, that's great, and I want you to do that. But what is it going to be next year? It's going to have to be at least 10 million again. Or the next year, it's going to be 12, 15, 20, whatever. You're always going to be working, So Just go out and sponsor 40 agents, however long it takes, and you can sell because you want to sell. And we do want to sell because we make money at that, and that's how our company makes money. But you want to list agents so that you can choose to sell when you want to sell, right? Otherwise, you're going to be selling forever till you die. I love this quote too. I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And that is so true, because if this whole room goes out and just I make $1 off everybody in this room, it's better than me having to go out and do all the work. And really what I want to tell you is think about, if you've sold for years, the times that you have to leave an event that you're at, a family event, a soccer game, or whatever it is, a birthday party, to go talk to a buyer or seller, put a deal together, or negotiate contracts. All of those times that you have to do that will never, ever stop if you're selling real estate. And with this, you don't have to worry about it. And you're building your rev share, you're scheduling that time, investing in your group when it works for you and the other person, not when it's got to be done at that minute for a deal. So maximize the opportunity. On every listing as a listing agent, you have so many agents to talk to. Don't be one of those listing agents that never responds to the buyer's agent with the offer, that you didn't get it, that they got it, or you don't know if they got it, or worse, the property goes into escrow and you didn't even acknowledge, those listing agents that do that. It's such an opportunity. So on our deals, and we did $40 million last year, we counter every one of our offers that we get. And we get about 15 or 20 offers on every property over the last year. Why do I do that? Because I want to get in a relationship with that agent, and I actually talk with every one of those agents and kind of give them ideas on how to make their offer better. I'm just building a relationship is what I'm doing. So you've got every opportunity to meet other agents. On showings as a buyer's agent, follow up with all those agents that you meet. Meet agents through open houses. These seem like simple ideas, and they are, but you just got to do them. So go to more open houses, events, get your frienders and friends to connect you with their agent contacts. 2 of my FLQAs have come from one of my vendors. If an agent doesn't join, stay in touch with them, and they'll refer you an FLQA. 2 of my FLQAs came from somebody I tried to attract, and 4 years later, she finally joined, but I had attracted these other 2 FLQAs because she connected me with them. So I thought about it a little while ago. It's actually 20% of my 27 FLQAs have come from basically being referred to me. Eventually, they join. Don't give up. They're just saying not now if they don't come yet. Make it a game, make it fun. Get in relationship with every realtor you know. Just make it a game, just call another agent. What do you got to lose? Nothing. What do you got to gain? Maybe a $200,000 a year, leg, basically. It really could change things. Don't assume. Forget that. Don't assume anything. If you're thinking about them, call them. I can't tell you, and those of us done this a while will tell you, when you think of an agent, you need to call them, because later you're going to see that they have either joined another company and you thought in your mind, oh, they would never leave, or they joined EXP and you would rather have them join through you, right? That happened to me to someone when I was at Coldwell Banker, Beverly Hills, many years ago. I was working on a deal with an agent. I said, you need to join our office because it's such a great office. We were the #1 office in the world. And I got her to join the office. Well, I got a thank you from the manager. That's all I got at Coldwell Banker. And then when I went to Keller Williams, I tried to get her to come there, and then she didn't. And then later she did, but not through me. And then about 2 weeks ago, I saw she's at EXP. Wonderful. But I knew her. Why didn't I call her? She didn't have to wait all those years. She could have come a lot sooner, right? So don't get comfortable. It's so easy to get comfortable with everything, and I think you know that. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. We are so easy to get distracted. We're all type Ds, ADD, whatever you want to say. We're all of that, you know? The person beside you may be on their phone right now. That's distracted, right? So don't get distracted. Create good habits and keep them. Do the right things consistently. One coach told me, I thought this was really great, work by a calendar. Put everything in a calendar, you know, because you just follow that. Don't get overwhelmed. When you see these numbers up here, it looks like a lot, but think of that double a penny. I know some of you don't know about double a penny, and most of you do, but if you take 1 penny and double it today for tomorrow, that's 2 pennies, and the next day is 4 and everything. Google what it is at the end of 30 days. You know, if you got an option on the lottery to take $1 million or take double a penny for a month, you better take double a penny for a month, because it's over $5 million at the end of 30 days. So think of your rev share group like doubling a penny, and it will double every month as you go along. And it starts with you doubling the front line, right? And I just want to tell you a quick story. When I was a senior in high school, biggest time of the year for, you know, people, I had a lot going on, obviously. I already started college, and I had lost my family. My father, we lived on the golf course, at the country club and everything, and had a great life. But my father had mortgaged our house against some commercial property. It was 1980, and that was right after the energy crisis, and inflation and recession was going crazy. And so, long story short, we lost the house, had to move out in the middle of the night to avoid the embarrassment, and that was when I was a senior in high school. And I always thought after that, you know, I want to buy that house one day. And so, through the years, I would notice it was for sale or whatever, and I was in a position to do that. And anyway, eventually somebody bought it, tore it down, built a monstrosity, so that house is gone. Well, last year, I kept saying I wanted to buy a house in my hometown in Arkansas. And so last year, my best friend called me and she said, you know, there's a house on the golf course for sale. I said, really? And so I looked at it and I thought, it's whatever. And so Craig and I were out walking one night, and I said, you know, there's a house in my hometown on the golf course for sale. And I said, I want to buy that, make that a vacation rental, because all the properties we own are all vacation rentals. That's why I live in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, and Fort Lauderdale. And so he goes, well, just do it. I'm like, okay. So I called up my friend in my hometown, a realtor. I said, write the offer. And so he wrote it up. And I said, it's all cash, because I'm with EXP. I can do that, right? So, so anyway, he said, he goes, you got a counterback. I said, just sign it. It's fine, you know? And so all my friends, my pissy friends in Los Angeles said, why would you buy a house in Arkansas? You know? And I said, well, because I can, you know? And so, and the funny thing is it's a simple ranch house or whatever, and you know, I'm going to make it a vacation rental. We are going to make it a vacation rental one day. But it's just renting right now. It was a $400,000 purchase, which is not that much in one way. But on the other hand, it's $400,000 that you can just, you know, go get, and it's already worth $550 or whatever because of the way prices have gone up. But it rents for $2,500 a month. Well, $2,500 a month is about 7% return on your money. And so I try to explain to my friends, you know, 7% return is 7% return no matter where it is or what it is. It's a good thing. But the fun thing, the whole point of the story is, I was able to do that, and we were able to do that because of EXP, because of feeling that financial security. And the other thing I want to say about EXP, it just allows you, when you have the assets, the benefits, everything else, it just allows you not to have to think about it. You don't have to look at a price tag because you got to go, okay, can I afford that or not? You don't have to look at that. You know, you're buying something because you want it, because it has value to you, you know? And so, like my shoes, you see the leopard, you know, patent shoes, a lot of money at Neiman Marcus, but it doesn't matter, you know, because I wanted them. So I just didn't think anything about it when I bought them, you know? And so just do this business. Just go out there and attract people. Otherwise, it's not too late. It's perfect timing. Yes, 6.5 years ago when I got in, it was a different, but we didn't have all the stuff. We didn't have a Don Yoakum to lay it out and show you exactly what it's going to be like. We didn't have all that. We had to go by faith, you know, and we did. And we would have our weekly meetings and we would talk about stuff, but now you have a plan. You can see what's happened, and you're going to wish you would have done more right now in the next 6-12 months, 3 years from now, if you don't do it. So don't wait. Thank you.